of this business. Me? I don't think so. That's my opinion. I'm Brian Johnson.
All my friends know the low ride.
See how I try to deflect the responsibility for an opinion to somebody else? That's a Cashman characteristic. Let's check in with Ann Silverman.
Northbound 5 near Yesler, Estaltz, and the express lanes are a good choice on southbound 5. I'm Ann Silverman on the Buzz, 100.7 FM.
8 o'clock, KIRO-FM, Seattle.
CBS News, this is Frank Sebutani. Government officials in Washington say a plane carrying Commerce Secretary Ron Brown is reported missing during a flight in the Balkans. Brown was visiting the region with a dozen chief executives of major U.S. telecommunications, tourism, and infrastructure companies. He reportedly was flying from Tuzla, Bosnia, to Dubrovnik, Croatia. It's not clear whether the business executives were with him, and that is all the information that is available at this point. Indianapolis Colts linebacker Quentin Coriat has turned himself in to face charges of pointing a gun at an Indianapolis motorist. And repeating the hour's top story, there is no additional information from the Commerce Department, but officials in Washington say a plane carrying Commerce Secretary Ron Brown has been reported missing during a flight in the Balkans. Frank Sedapani, CBS News.
If you're like most of us, you spend a measurable part of your waking life taking pictures of your kids, not your average drugstore.
6 minutes past 8 o'clock. This is The Buzz, 100.7 FM. Let's go. Come on. Here's Ann Silverman.
We have a 5-car accident on Sandpoint Way southbound before you get 54. I'm Ann Silverman on the Buzz, 100.7 FM.
Here's a song for you. I'm the leader of the gang, I am. You know who's doing this song, Lisa?
Devo.
No. Perhaps you remember this artist's most famous song. Perhaps you've heard it at the Key Arena. And he wrote the lyrics for this, too, by the way. Yes, it's Gary Glitter. This is Rock and Roll Part 1. I never liked Rock and Roll Part 1 because it was too complex. That's why I liked Rock and Roll Part 2, because I could remember the lyrics a little better. Can you see the music sheet that came with this song? Hey, hey, hey. We don't have time to interpret that song for you, but we leave that to yourself. We're talking about the interpretation of dreams today. I'll admit I'm a bit of a skeptic. I'm just not too convinced that they necessarily really mean anything other than that they're just dreams. There's a giant chasing you in your dream, and he's catching up, and you can't move fast enough.
And it's just some sort of an entertainment thing, is what you think.
Well, I think you probably are. You're probably manifesting some fear of being a big guy catching you, but I don't think...
Well, maybe the big guy is a symbol of something, which is what I believe.
I don't know about
Perhaps
that.
you have a big tax bill.
Let's talk to
coming
Steve in Bellevue. What do you think, Steve?
Good morning, Pat.
Hi.
How are you, Lisa Dustin?
Good morning.
Good morning. You know, I wanted to talk about dreams that linger. You ever have those dreams that linger after you wake up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they just hang with you for the day?
All day long.
Well, this is a haunting dream. I've had this a few times where I'm walking in my house, and I go to get a cup of coffee. I go to grab the mug. The handle falls off the mug. I try to leave the kitchen. The doorknob comes off the door, and it's just haunting me this way. I go to grab my my briefcase to leave. The handle falls off the briefcase. When I woke up, I was too terrified to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's a haunting dream.
Oh.
Thanks for that. And you've given us something to think about.
Listen, I really got to go right now.
Yeah, I know. I know
Okay.
you do. Yeah, well, let's talk to an expert, dream interpreter, one of the the better known, too, in this country, a psychologist, a radio show host, and an author. It is Patricia Hudson, who joins us on the line for a couple of minutes this morning. Hello, Dr. Hudson.
Good morning.
Thanks for being with us.
Glad to.
That fellow's dream there where the handles are coming off things.
Well, actually, I would
heard anything like that?
I would look at the pun in that. He can't get a handle on it.
There you go. That's what she was. Now, do dreams always have to mean anything?
Well, dreams do mean things, but you don't have to interpret them, I think, is more the secret there.
But you're saying that no matter what you dream about, whenever you dream, it does have some sort of symbolic meaning.
Well, yes, it does have some symbolic meaning.
Now,
but of course it will have some of the content of your day, too.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, I know you've got some concerns, some questions.
So what about recurring dreams? Things things you dream about over and over. Is that something that you haven't resolved in your life, or something you're dealing with constantly?
Exactly. I'd say the two kinds of dreams that you really do need to pay attention to, because I don't want people to turn into totally self-absorbed where they're constantly analyzing every little thing they do. But on the other hand, when it comes to dreams that you have over and over again, that's a sign that your unconscious is saying, hey, pay attention to this. It's really important. And nightmares are also dreams that you really should pay attention to.
Well, what about a dream where you're just walking down the street and you're looking in a store window and nothing in particular happens in this dream? What does that
Nobody
mean?
has dreams like
Sure
that.
you do.
No, they don't.
Sure you
they
do.
look in the window and realize they have no pants on.
No, not
That's the
always.
kind of dream people have.
That's not true. Usually dreams,
for heaven's sake.
nothing in particular going on in the dream. Well, what does that mean?
You're a boring person. That's what it means.
Well, I don't really think that a lot of people do have dreams that are quite that, shall we say, mundane. Most dreams are a little more creative than that. I'd say you have a very dull unconscious if you can't come up with something more interesting than that to entertain
I have
yourself.
that dream every
sleep.
night.
Now, I have a recurring dream about puppies that I've forgotten to feed.
Okay.
Or a child. Sometimes it's the form of a baby.
Or a sea monkey.
No, it's just normally it's puppies. I've forgotten to feed my animals, and days will go by, and I'll realize with horror,
I wonder what that could be.
I forgot to feed them. And then sometimes it'll take, like I said, like the form of a baby, although that doesn't happen all the time. And the baby is more, I just forgot to change its diapers, so it's been for a couple days kind of,
Yes.
filled up, so to speak. And those are nightmares to me. I just wake up just very upset and shaken by those. And I have those every few months. It's not something I have constantly, but that's one of those dreams that never leaves me.
Well, I would say that dream is saying that you need to take care of the animal in you. That is, and I don't make fun of that, Pat.
Yeah, you know what he just did? He just rolled his eyes at that.
I couldn't see it, but I just knew.
Could you tell? Yeah.
Because, in other words, in terms of your body and your health and maybe needing to exercise, more of that sort of physical side of you.
Should I be more catty? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that'd be all right.
But now, how do I put
So
this?
I'm starving my animal.
How can she not know what the issue is? Why would she have that dream and it not be literally a dream of concern about not being responsible, worrying about not being capable of taking care of something, or something associated with guilt about that? Why would it be such an obscure meaning to the dream that we'd have to go to a dream therapist to figure out what it meant?
Well, I'd say the reason why that would come up would be that Lisa's gotten really busy, and she's been really busy with her career and doing other kinds of things, and has kind of forgotten to take care of that side of her. And that her unconscious is trying to say, hey, wait, you've forgotten me over here, including the baby part, because that would mean that,
my
that you need to
child.
nurture. Yeah, right, your own child. Nurture yourself more, feed yourself more, be more...
Feed yourself more. That couldn't be it. We're talking to Dr. Patricia Hudson, by the way. Doctor, would you take a call from a listener?
Oh, sure, I'd love to.
We have someone on the line who wants to ask the doctor...
I need to go get a cookie.
The question... Oh, I think I just blew it. I think I did... Dang it! Nuts! I not only hung up on the doctor, I hung up on the caller. And there's the thing about, I had a dream. I knew this was going to happen. So weird. Dan, see if you can get her back. Ah, shoot. And it was Kelly in Issaquah who was calling.
Kelly, call us
please
back.
call us back. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I know the doctor thinks I did that on purpose, too. It's 8:15. Let's check traffic, and we'll try to get this thing fixed here.
Thanks. Northbound on the Valley Freeway, right under 405, we have an accident blocking one of the lanes, and that's going to guys with scattered showers, highs of 54. I'm Ann Silverman on the Buzz, 100.7 FM.
Okay, well, we've got Dr. Patricia Hudson back on the line. Doctor, 1,000 pardons.
Oh, I just thought I was having a nightmare.
And now we've got Kelly on the line. And Kelly has a question for you. Kelly, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I had a dream. I was pretty young. I was probably 7.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like Dustin's dream where I couldn't really tell reality from fantasy, but I kept having these recurring nightmares of like big tarantulas and dinosaurs chasing me.
Oh.
And one day it was like I woke up in my bed from the dream.
Oh.
And at the end of my bed was a man that was like I was really there. I couldn't tell if it was a dream, but it was really my room. And this guy who was on he used to be on the commercials to introduce the wildlife cards, they're like collector cards.
Uh-huh.
He would say like, your next dream would be this, and he'd start telling me about my next nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
And I'd be like, well, and he and I started to fight because I said, I'm not going to have that dream. I refused to have it. And I started to force my eyes open, and it's like he started coming toward me. And I woke up, and I had never had a dream like that again, but I've never been able to shake.
That's scary.
Yeah, that is
Even
scary.
today, the dream of snakes. Like, there's always snakes in my dream, and I haven't been bit, but it's like they're always different dreams, but there's snakes in them, and that's when
I don't want to have to tell you what snakes mean.
It's very Freudian.
Well, thanks, Kelly. Thank you for your call. I'm going to put you both on hold, and now let's ask the doctor what she makes of that.
Well, certainly, given the fact that she felt very afraid at the end of the dream, that tells you what the snakes mean in that dream, because snakes can be really beautiful in dreams, too, and spiritual. They don't have to be
fearful. But can it just mean that she's afraid of snakes?
Well, I'm sure she is afraid of snakes, but why is that coming up in dreams? I mean, certainly, if it's coming up in dreams, that means that that must be something she needs to deal with about that. And one of the ways that you can interpret a dream is to say, pretend I'm talking to somebody from another planet, and I'm trying to explain to them what a snake is. Now, in her case, she's probably going to say something like, a snake is a frightening, evil thing that can sort of sneak up on you and poison you, right?
Yeah.
Other people might say, well, it's a very beautiful, interesting animal, and it can do this and this. So how they describe the animal will tell them what the symbol means for them. So in other words, that way you can sort of get at what does the symbol mean for me. Mm-hmm. Although you can look in a book, books on symbolism and dreams, and they probably will tell you what snakes mean. And of course, a phallic representation there has to come to mind.
Certainly.
And as far as the spiders, people often do dream of scary things like spiders and snakes. And again, talking about, well, what is in your life like this? What's scary in your life? What's frightening in your life? And when you're 7 years old, there are a lot of things that are scary. I've got a 7-year-old friend. I have a 9-year-old, and his best friend's little sister is terrified of bees, and she's constantly worried about bees. So if she had a dream about bees, it would just be, dealing with her own actual phobia.
We've only got a couple of minutes left, and I know the doctor has to move along, too. Have a couple other people, Doctor, with questions for you, and we'll let them do it. We can't really field a lot of questions here, but we do have Mark on the line in his car this morning. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I've got this dream I've had since I was a little boy, and once in a while now, as a young adult, my creature's a little bit bigger. I keep dreaming I'm being chased by Godzilla.
Being chased by Godzilla. All right. What do you make of that, Doctor?
A recurring dream.
First, I would say it's very normal to have a dream about monsters. I mean, particularly when you're younger, because you mentioned that you'd had this since you were a little boy, Mark, and because when we're a little child, all of a sudden these people that are supposed to just love us get really upset with us and start screaming and yelling at us because we, wrote on the wall with a crayon kind of thing. So I think that's when we first get into this monster kind of thinking, and that comes out in our dreams. But I guess I would say, what is this like in your life? And I'd ask myself, you can change your dreams, by the way. You can go in and decide to have a different ending. You can ask for a dream on a certain topic. And all this is dealt with in my book, Making Friends with Your Unconscious Mind, about how to have a dream about a topic. And I would have a dream about what does Godzilla mean to me, so I could understand why this particular monster.
Doctor, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. A lot of fun.
And by the way, let me give everybody your 800 number if you'd like more information. 1-800-234-4076.
Yes.
That's right?
Yes, that's right.
Dr. Patricia Hudson.
Dr.
Thanks a ton for being with us. 1-800-234-4076. The doctor had to go, but we wouldn't mind hearing from you in our remaining half hour or so this morning. What do you think of this stuff? I'm sorry, I just remain highly skeptical.
Gee, that's a surprise.
Well, I am. Like if a guy is dreaming about snakes and he's afraid of snakes, that's pretty easy to figure out, isn't it? He's afraid of snakes. It's top of mind. He's thinking about it.
Why would he be dreaming about it, though?
Because he's afraid of them, and it's dark, and he knows they're in the room. 421-5070 or 1-800-395-5150. It's 21 minutes past 8 o'clock. This is The Buzz.
Something new and exciting awaits you at the Cloud Room atop the Cashman Hotel in downtown Seattle. To tell you about it, here's Executive Chef Greg Epstein.
Dark as midnight, smooth as satin, only from Millstone Coffee.
Some people think that classical music has to be stuffy. Well, at Classic King FM, the music we play is many things. It's romantic, joyful, and breathtaking, but never stuffy. Indulge yourself today. The best music of all time is playing now on the classical station, King FM at 98.1.
Well, I sure would like to be able to make that claim about our station. I mean, about never being stuffy and things. It's 8:24. This is The Buzz.
There we go. Good as old. I had a chance to go by a place called Pennsylvania Woodworks just the other day. You ever seen that place, Lisa? There's two of them, actually. There's one in Woodinville and one in Gilman Village in Issaquah now. And they feature furniture that is handcrafted by Amish families on individual farms in Pennsylvania and Ohio. And if you open the drawers, for example, to desks, or you look behind, underneath, or inside of most pieces of regular furniture, that's where they hide all the mistakes, or that's where they get cheap on you. They'll stick particle board in there, or staples and stuff. But you examine this Amish furniture stem to stern, and you can find you cannot find anything but quality throughout. And that's why people are so drawn to those beautiful pieces of furniture that the Amish make, and that's what they have at Pennsylvania Woodworks. It's truly furniture you didn't think existed anymore. It's handcrafted from solid pieces of cherry, oak, or pine, one piece at a time. Pennsylvania Woodworks is the only place, too, where you can find this kind of furniture west of the Rocky Mountains. It's beautiful, and the stores are warm, and the furniture and the atmosphere is unique, and you really should go take a look. Pennsylvania Woodworks in Woodinville, and their new location in Issaquah at the entrance to Gilman Village. It's 8:25 on The Buzz. Back to the fumes we go. Span is calling from Stanaway this morning.
That's me. This is a serious one today, Pat.
Okay, Stan.
Normally I call up and yuck and joke and clown with you.
But there's no kidding this time.
You got it.
Okay.
1972, coast of Vietnam. Playing war games and Navy games and doing all sorts of freedom type stuff.
Yeah.
Long time sleeping after many, many hours up. And I have this weird dream. I've got this bizarre dream that I even wrote home about. I said I'm standing around in a military office in front of a desk. There's a clown behind the desk. Major something written on the desk.
An actual clown,
A clown.
In a clown
Full
suit.
clown suit, red nose, the whole bit. Clown beside me, clown on the other side of me, and beside the desk, sitting in a big, thick, heavy fur coat, all I could see was thick black hair, beautiful girl, and the name Kate was in my mind. I don't know anybody named Kate at the time. So I come back, I get out of the service, I come back here, come to do Spanaway things.
Was there a woman named Edith in the dream as well?
That was the woman in the fur coat with thick black hair.
Okay,
Real pretty
because
girl.
I can tell you right now that you can't have Kate and Edith, too.
You got it.
That's true in dreams and it's true in life.
You got it.
Go on, Stan.
So I come back, and in 1974, I get invited to help out with the Toys for Tots here in Tacoma at the Marine Corps Reserve Base. And I walk into Major so-and-so's office, and here's a clown on the left of me, clown on the right of me. Here's a clown sitting at the table.
No way.
Behind the desk. Absolutely. And who is sitting there but this girl that they kind of set a blind date up with me named Kate. that I also dreamt...
Get out of here.
That is, I have my goosebumps on my arms right now.
I married, which I did.
You married Kate?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I should have finished the dream, because then I'd have realized from that point on it was not a pleasant dream, but that's okay.
It turned into a nightmare after that.
It turned into a nightmare.
Wow.
That is the weirdest thing. My first experience with Deja Vu.
That is really something.
And that definitely calls for your weird music, and I'll get off the air now.
Thank you. Wow. Cool.
Well, that's not actually technically deja vu. That's more of a premonition.
Now you're going to tell us what deja vu means.
Yes, I am, as a matter of fact.
Okay,
I
ladies and
will. That
gentlemen.
was a premonition that he had, not deja vu.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is what deja vu means from the expert Lisa Foster.
Deja vu would have been if he had walked in the office and said, I have been here before. I was here before. I know I've been here before, but I can't recall
it's a
when I was
sense
here
that you've
before.
been somewhere before.
And premonition is when you see something that hasn't happened yet, and then it happens. So there you go.
There you go. If you want to know what things mean, give us a call, 421-5070, and ask for Lisa Foster.
I ache to serve.
Here is Veronica. Hi, Veronica. You're on the buzz.
Oh, hi. Lisa,
yeah.
You're right on. You're in tune with yourself, and you're going to be able to interpret your dreams really well from now on. Pat, I think that...
Here it comes.
Here comes the bad news.
Well, if you have a problem with this, I think it stems from the fact that you're a man.
He's afraid. He's afraid.
Anyway,
I just want somebody to prove to me that
though it has nothing to
dream
do with
interpretation is a real deal.
Well, okay, the last caller, and I will prove to you also I have 4 children. When I was pregnant with the first 3, I dreamed the sex of each of them.
And it was true? And it came out?
Oh, yes, definitely. And the 4th one, I didn't even know I was pregnant, and dreamed that I had the baby, and dreamed the sex, dreamed her name, and I ran out the next day, got one of those at-home pregnancy tests.
And you were pregnant?
Yeah, and it was before there could be any signs of it. So I was like 5 to 7 days pregnant.
What do you say to that, Mr. Skeptical Pants?
Well, I don't want to, be rude to Veronica, but think about all the things that happen in the course of a day and in your life that you say, hey, that could symbolize something, and the relative fraction of things that ever come true. We forget all the things that don't happen that way. We discard those.
But
seize upon those things that happen to work out.
But even better than that,
yeah,
I dreamed the babies of 2 people that I knew, and what I didn't know before I dreamed them was that they were having problems getting pregnant, like miscarriages and things like that. And I told them, my dreams told them they were having the baby, what sex it was, and that they were going to be born fine and healthy. And it really took a lot of worry off their minds.
That was very, very nice, Veronica.
Thank you, Veronica, for calling.
Okay, thanks for taking my call.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Wow.
Yeah. Mr. So
8:30,
sure.
this is The Buzz, 100.7 FM. That's what she says. If you're so quick to believe it.
Mr. So sure.
That's up to you. I'm skeptical. I'm healthily skeptical. Let's check traffic. Here's Ann Silverman.
And 520 eastbound backs up approaching Montlake, and westbound last book with your appointment. 453-8660. The Buzz on the weather. Partly sunny with scattered showers. Our highs near 54. I'm Ann Silverman on the Buzz, 100.7 FM.
Thanks very much, Ann. And it is just 46 degrees now. Temp's going up a bit. Calvin is in his car this morning. Hi, Calvin.
Hi. How are you?
Are you carpooling with Hobbs this morning, or is it just
I'm
you?
not in my car. I'm at work.
Oh, okay. So what's going on?
I just had a couple comments on dreams. I did a lot of experimenting with dreams in the past with different foods and things before you go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
And you can certainly change your dream stylings according to the type of foods that you eat.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess I just kind of believe dreaming is like colds. You have a cold to clear your body of impurities, and I think that you dream at night so you dump your psyche of all the waste products that are inside your subconscious. Otherwise, people would tend to overload with all the garbage that they pick up during their daytime.
So you believe that it is a way for your subconscious to deal with issues that come up in your life?
Yeah, and just to throw away the bad stuff and move the good stuff that you need to deal with a little closer to the front.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But if you want to have really good
As
dreams, you
influenced
should
by
eat.
pizza.
Pardon me?
If you want to have good dreams, what? What do
If
you
you want
eat?
to have really good dreams, you should eat chicken before you go to bed.
Huh.
I'll keep that in mind.
Chicken will give you the enjoyable dreams.
Thank you for your call.
Okay.
I wonder what cannibals dream about.
Remember, you can look, but we're not your average pharmacy either.
You're in the middle of a Buzz Morning Show commercial sweep.
Call First Choice before you buy. 682-CO-100, but they're going fast.
Why buy a mattress anywhere else? Sleep Country will beat anyone's price, even sale prices by 5% or more. Plus, Sleep Country's 60-night home trial guarantees peace of mind. For store locations or information, call 1-800-99-SUNNY.
It's 8:36 on the Buzz 100.7 FM. A news bulletin has just come down, and it is a grim one. And we will have an Associated Press live special report coming up in a couple of 3 minutes on the apparent crash of a plane in Croatia carrying Commerce Secretary Ron Brown. And we will have a live special report on what is known about that coming up in a couple of minutes. It's 8:37. This is the Buzz 100.7 FM. I'm Pat Cashman. Lisa Foster is here. And we're talking about dreams and whether they really mean anything at all. I'm skeptical that the doctor said they always mean something, and I don't think they do. I think sometimes they may be dealing with issues. I'll grant the possibility in some cases, but most of the time I think it's just you're just kind of dreaming and your mind's wandering, and I don't think it means anything profound. Chris is calling from Kirkland.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Lisa.
Hey,
Morning.
Hi. Lisa, you had mentioned something. Actually, this is not about dreams, about that deja vu that you had mentioned, though, about the feeling that you've been there before or whatever. And I just wanted to give out what I feel is a scientific explanation for that.
All right.
Now, I read it, and I believe it's true, that our brain is split up into, the two lobes, the right and the left. And the left lobe controls the right side of your body, I suppose, and vice versa. And that, let's say you walk into a room and you feel that deja vu. It's actually one side of the brain taking in the visual information like a split second before the other one gets it. And so you walk into that room.
Now, this is just your theory.
No, this is something I actually read.
Oh.
Why doesn't that happen all the time then? Why doesn't your brain always
Well,
work
the
that way?
synapses of, your brain is pretty quick, but just sometimes it lags. I don't know. Maybe it's something you ate.
Oh, I know. My brain lags sometimes.
Anyway, that's just something I just thought I'd like to think about, because it does make sense to me, at least.
Yeah, well, thanks for your call. Very interesting. We don't have a nice nifty two-word phrase for that rather cumbersome explanation of the sense that you have been or seen something before, and that's why we got that word from the French, because they have it in a nice nifty little two-word, six-letter package like that. It's 8:39. This is the Buzz 100.7 FM.
So you want to spice up your weekday, huh?
No, actually, I like my days to be flat and dull, kind of like Rye Crisps.
Rye Crisps? You are boring. Well, in that case, what I have to say is not for you.
Oh, come on, let me in on it.
Nope, it's people like you who cannot appreciate the Buzz 100.7 FM and their weekday lineup.
I could learn.
Sorry, Mr. Rye Crisp. Pat Cashman, Amy Alpine, Dr. Laura, and Tom Likas are just a bit too racy for people like you. The Buzz 100.7 FM is radio with attitude, not radio with Rye Crisp.
I rue the day I ever brought up Rye Crisp.
As well you should.
It is it's 8:39, by the way. We're going to go to Associated Press news in just a moment here. Some of the other news of this day, they have come up with a cost for repairing the Kingdome now. They say $197 million. This, according to a sports facilities group, that's how much it would cost to bring it up to snuff. We'll see where that money is going to come from. And the Sonics and the Mariners both won last night. It's 8:40. This is the Buzz 100.7 FM.
This is a live special report from AP Network News. Brown's plane is missing. I'm Chuck Rice. The White House is confirming that Commerce Secretary Ron Brown is missing on a flight over the Balkans and that a plane is down in the area where he is missing. McCurry says there's a wreckage in the Adriatic Sea. Now, McCurry also says the briefing room, he was in there just moments ago, and he described the search and rescue operation that is now underway.
Because of our military presence in the area, we are assisting with search and rescue efforts that are underway. I believe some other governments have indicated that they're participating in search and rescue. They've got both helicopters and C-130s involved in that. There is a report now that we can confirm that there is wreckage in the water, but we cannot confirm at this point that wreckage is in fact Secretary Brown's plane.
Wreckage has been spotted in the Adriatic Sea and that a search and rescue operation is now underway.
Okay, well, we will update that story, obviously, as this morning progresses. 8:42, this is The Buzz, 100.7 FM.
We're here for you. Just ask us.
Back to your calls in a moment. It is 8:45, though, right on the nose, and here is Ann Silverman.
Northbound 405, right around Southeast 8. The pipe was rolling around in the roadway. The Buzz on the weather, partly sunny with scattered showers, highs of 54. I'm Ann Silverman on the Buzz, 100.7 FM.
Thanks very much, Ann, and it is 46 degrees right now. We're talking about this business of dreams and dream interpretation, and I would have to pronounce myself an agnostic on the subject. I just don't know. And I don't think that most of the time dreams mean a heck of a lot. I don't think that they are a deep and profound examination of marital issues or family concerns or women's issues or men's issues or anything else. They're just dreams.
Just entertainment.
They're just, I don't know if you want, I don't necessarily regard them as
Well, then what are they?
They're just thoughts. They're just idle thoughts that just stream through your mind, the same as when you're awake. You're just sort of sitting around thinking of stuff, and it may or may not be meaningful. I don't think most of the time it means a heck of a lot. That's my opinion.
I know you're Brian Johnson. Well, I happen to think that they are...
We know what you think.
All right.
You think they're real profound.
No, I didn't say profound. I just said that they're a way of our subconscious, a way to deal with things, with issues that we have going on in our lives. And we do that while we are fully conscious and awake, and I think we also do that when we are sleeping.
Let's say, take an example.
I'm Brian Johnson.
Okay, Brian, let me ask you this. Let's say that, let's say there's an issue here at work. There's a guy that you work with that you just can't stand, okay? Now, in your dream, wouldn't you just dream about that guy that you can't stand? Why would you dream about going out in a boat and eating a chocolate bar as if that was going to symbolize that thing? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, maybe it's something that you're not comfortable dealing with or you don't know how to deal with it, but your subconscious, I don't think you have any control over your subconscious.
You don't.
That's the whole point of dreams. It then interprets it for itself and...
No, it doesn't. That's the thing. It doesn't interpret it. You get some so-called expert that has to do the interpreting for you because you can't figure it out yourself.
Well, we don't know everything about the human mind.
Then how are you supposed to know what it means?
That's the whole point. We don't know enough about the brain and the mind to know how it works and how it thinks, and I think it's just arrogance for you to
so a
think
bunch of self-anointed PhDs think they can interpret your dreams.
I think they're trying to help.
When they don't even know your personal problems or what your life is all about. It's poppycock. That's my opinion.
I'm Brian Johnson.
Here's Jeff calling in Kirkland. Hi, Jeff. You're on the Buzz.
Hi, Pat. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Jeff.
I used to have these really surrealistic dreams about tents, or I blew the joke, about wigwams and teepees.
Yeah, we know the joke now, Jeff. You just blew the joke.
Dang it.
Darn.
Let's pretend like we didn't hear the punchline.
Okay,
Now go ahead.
let's start over.
Oh, he gave up. I used to have this dream where sometimes I'm a wigwam and then sometimes I'm a teepee, and my doctor said, you're just too tense.
Yeah.
That was what he was trying to say.
Nice try, Jeff.
Doggone it. Well, see, we kept him waiting so long.
He's going to have a nightmare tonight because of that.
Let's talk to Kevin on Whidbey Island. Hi, Kevin. You're on the Buzz.
Hey, Pat, Lisa.
Morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Fine.
Hey, well, I got one. This is one I had a couple years ago. It was a reoccurring dream. It was I probably was like 5 years out of high school. I just kept having this dream that I was, falling behind in class and I was failing English. And what happened was I was getting ready to start going back to school. And once I started going to school and taking a couple of classes and all that stuff, and the dream sort of kind of went away. So therefore, I take it that the dream meant that I had failure. I was afraid of failing.
Afraid of failing.
So
that sounds plausible.
So once I had that one, that dream went away.
Because that's obvious. You could figure that out from the dream itself.
Right.
But all of this gobbledygook, Byzantine, mysterious sort of interpretive baloney. That's what it is, Lisa.
Now
You
listen,
should be able to figure it out
I
yourself.
had a guy friend who had just gotten into a new relationship, and he told me that he had this dream about a dog going into the elevator, but the dog's tail started to get stuck in the doors. Now, I don't think I need to interpret that for you. I
Thanks
think
for
you
your
know
call.
what that means.
It's 10 minutes now before 9 o'clock. This is The Buzz. Let's switch topics, at least for the moment here, and talk about happy times and a dream come true for somebody on Friday when we announced their name as the winner of the Pat Pack this week. And what a bounty of goods there are in there. 5 bags of Millstone Coffee's new Cafe Midnight Satin Dark. A coffee described dark as midnight, smooth as satin. 4 dozen delicious bagels, courtesy of Big Apple Bagels in Kent, and lunch for 2 at the Cloud Room in the Camlin Hotel. The Camlin Hotel, a leg end in downtown Seattle.
Legend.
And 2 tickets to the Pacific Science Center's new IMAX film, Yellowstone. There's a lot of good stuff in there. You want to enter? Fax us at The Buzz at the Pat Pack, 421-5009, 421-5009. Or mail an entry to us at 1820 East Lake Avenue East, Seattle 98102. Winner picked by Leonard Random in a random drawing on Friday. And we'll announce the winner at that time, too. Stay with us. It's 8:51. This is The Buzz, 100.7 FM.
He won the Daytona 500 in 1967, the Indianapolis 500 in
Have more ways to play.
Every 8 seconds, a burglary is committed. 1 in every 4 American homes will be a victim of crime. The incidence of drug-related crime will rise in the 90s. Fire threatens a home and a family every 57 seconds. Statistics. You can use them to prove anything. You can use them to prove that dreams mean something if you wanted to. But the fact of the matter is, you need to feel safe in your home. And it's now no longer a question of if you need a security system. Rather, it's how soon can one be installed. The solution? Security Holdings. They'll design and install a customized security system to meet your needs. Your system linked to a central station monitoring facility. It will provide you with 24-hour-a-day protection. You need 24-hour-a-day protection. Most of those places only give you 23-hour protection. So call Security Holdings, 1-800-364-0549 for a free consultation. 1-800-364-0549. Security Holdings. It's 8:54. This is The Buzz, 100.7 FM. I'm Pat Cashman with Lisa Foster. Ben is calling us from Port Orchard. Ben?
Hi, Pat.
Hi, Ben. Speak right up there.
I've been having this weird dream.
Yeah?
It was back when I lived in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this weird monster type thing that was always down in our basement that I had a dream.
Yikes.
It'd scream so loud. And it was weird. I had to hide under a blanket in order to...
But you were already under a blanket.
Yeah.
You were dreaming, right?
Yeah.
So that didn't do any good.
In my dream.
Now, since you've moved, though, out here, do you have that dream anymore?
Nope, not anymore.
Well, that's good.
So according to Pat, then there really was a big monster in your basement in Colorado.
Thanks, Ben. I'm glad you moved out here where it's safe. Ryan is calling from Kirkland. Hi, you're on The Buzz.
Hi, Pat.
Hi.
Hey, I remember being taught in school that the invention of the sewing machine was a direct result of a reoccurring dream.
A sewing machine was?
The sewing machine that we have today, yes. The guy trying to invent it couldn't figure out how to work the needle because all he'd ever had to that point was a needle with a point at the front and a little eyelet in the back. And every time he invented something, it would fall apart. So he had a dream to where he was captured somewhere in Africa by natives, tied to a pole, some sort of ceremony, and a spear would be thrown at him, and he would see himself sort of from the side. He would always wake up out of fear. he went to see some psychologist or something who told him, look, it's just a dream. Let it continue. Don't stop it. He did. The spear was thrown. It went right through him and through the pole. And then he looked at the spearhead. It had a hole in it. And that's how I figured out to put the hole at the tip of the needle.
See?
Another interesting sidebar to that. That man was not even a professional inventor. Turns out he was a performer on stage with the Rockettes. And yes, boys and girls, it was a dancer that invented a singer.
You're stuck in your office. Actually, your office cubicle. You turn on the Buzz 100.7 FM for Dr. Laura weekdays at noon. After a few sad sack callers, you suddenly realize that you are gainfully employed and have lots of friends. But then your boss, who's off for a 2-hour lunch, comes by, dumps his work on you, and blows the whole thing. So, sorry from the Buzz 100.7 FM.
Did your roof survive winter's weather? Will it keep...
Silverman on the Buzz 100.7 FM.
Thanks for being with us on Hot Talk. A lot of heat, not a lot of light. We'll do it again tomorrow. On KIRO-FM Seattle 100.7 FM.
CBS News, I'm Bill Lynch. A military plane carrying Commerce Secretary Ron Brown and a high-level American business delegation has crashed in bad weather into the Adriatic Sea after a visit to Bosnia.
We can confirm that there is wreckage in the water, but we cannot confirm at this point that that wreckage is in fact Secretary Brown's plane.
White House spokesman Mike McCurry says they were headed from Tuzla to the Croatian resort of Dubrovnik and that a search and rescue operation is now underway. Mark Knoller has the latest from the White House.
Bill, the president is said to be very concerned about Secretary Brown's situation at the White House. They now fear the worst, but they are still not sure. U.S. military aircraft, helicopters, and C-130s are taking part in a search and rescue mission in the waters of the Adriatic where the wreckage was spotted. The president canceled a scheduled visit to the Justice Department this morning in order to stay at the White House and stay in touch with the latest developments. Spokesman Mike McCurry says there is a lot of speculation as to what happened, but he says the answer is the U.S. government just doesn't know for sure. The president has, within the last 45 minutes or so, spoken with the wife of Secretary Ron Brown, who is here in the U.S. Bill?
Shortly before he left Tuzla, Brown had a present for American troops.
Being a former Army man myself, I know what being away from home is like, so we thought we would bring a little bit of home.